for us to learn that. That's how I was raised. So I think that way. So I just totally resonate. I also liken it to this is women will fight with each other and we'll hold on to it like forever. Men will sit next to each other at a bar, punch each other out, and then have a beer together, and then they're done. They're good. I was like, we need to act more like that so that when we get this feedback, we're able to have that separation between it being us and the product that we're offering, and that the languaging is just not landing. It's not resonating with the people, and having the proper name. Like I loved your LinkedIn name, that product that you're doing for LinkedIn, because it tells me exactly what it is. I'm like, yeah, I'm hands raised. I want to do that because it is exactly what you need. I want more bookings. Yes, I want to learn how to do that. Yes, I want to learn LinkedIn. You say that right in the title. Sometimes people come up with these great names for their companies, but it doesn't tell me anything of what they do. So it doesn't help. Mine is LDC strategies. Oh, she must strategize. Yeah, perfect. That's what I want you to think of. So the same thing with what you're doing is what you're saying is so important to make it easy for people to go, oh, I got what you're doing. Yeah, hands raised. So that's what you're talking about. And that's the feedback that you're looking for. Someone to say, yeah, I don't understand.
Right,
that to me is important feedback. I was like, all right, I don't like the fact that you don't understand it, but I'm happy that I know that you don't understand it because that means I have to go back to you.
Right. Because that's on us. That's not on them.
That's on us.
You can, if you're asking for feedback and people don't get it, you can say that everybody you talk to is an idiot, but that's not going to help you build a better product to sell down the line.
Well, I've actually had people who dug in and said, no, this is how I want to do it. And I'm like, okay, I'll come for the ride, but understand, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. These are the things that I see as potential issues, challenges in you going this route. And sure enough, when they went down the road, they got that feedback that you're talking about that said, yeah, that's not good. And they went back to their outline. So we had to go all the way back to the outline and rearrange it because they just weren't listening. And sometimes there are people we work with. I'm sure you can think of a couple of people you've worked with who just wasn't listening. And maybe that's not a good fit, for us as coaches and mentors and teachers. Sometimes that's not a really good fit. Kathleen, when you bring people through this process, what does that look like?
Yeah. So the Well-Paid Expert Mastermind is a 90-day framework. It's actually a year-long program because what happens is you can do it in 90 days, but that's if you nail the product idea right away, you do everything like time. Life gets in the way, your business gets in the way, 6 clients show up and they want to pay you, you're done for you rates. I get it. So it's a year-long program, So what it's designed to do is to have you have a fully functioning sales funnel by the end of that 90 days. So meaning it's got a sales page, it has a lead magnet, it has a webinar, whatever we decide for the lead magnet, it's got a flow of functionality. I help you build that. I find that that's where people get stuck is in the tech too. And that's
what tools do you use? What tools do you use to build your funnels?
I am using Optimize Press because I've been at this a long time and I am a WordPress native and it sits inside the WordPress world. And there's plenty of great tools out there. That's the one I'm using right now. Yeah. And so when we build that together, and I have like a big license for it. So people in my program can just take what we have and they can build using the same license. So it's not additional fees. On their,
which is really important to say, because in a lot of cases, then you have to, use another tool that has a monthly fee, that some of those monthly fees are costly, so that it's part of your program is brilliant. Because they also have your guidance and they're not having to build it all by themselves, because that's very time consuming. If you've never done it before, it's daunting. Once you learn how to do it, it's rinse and repeat, but it's the process of learning how to do it. Why waste your time? That's not your zone of genius. You need to hire an expert to do that so that you could be in your zone of genius, in your expert seat too, right? So you do that in 90 days, you give them that. And the thing I love about your program is it's a year long. What I find, and I have found in my own experience as well in doing what I do, is that along the way, you might not understand what's going on in the first 90 days, but you see the sales page being there, oh, this is good. But you're really not sure how this works and what the mechanism is and what the outcome is going to be. But as you go through the year, you're going to need that guidance through the next few months of, how do I use this? How do I reassociate this? This is the marketing data I'm getting back. How do I tweak this so it works for me? That's where they need you as well, right? And they get that through this.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, what the piece that I really like is when the first one's always really hard. You had a bunch of ideas, you went with one, it was really hard. You don't know. You don't know how it went. Yeah. And then as you're putting it out there, you get the same question from 8 people being like, do you have X? And then you come back to me because you're in the same program and you're like, well, now that I know how easy it is to build a sales funnel, can we do one for the thing that 8 people want to buy from me already? Yes. So that's what I'm hoping, is that we get multiple sales funnels in that year-long commitment.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, because you offer a year long, a lot of the programs don't. They're like one and done, get in, get out, and you're left floundering. You're sitting there and you're able to bring them along and give them that growth and really empower them, which is an important thing for me. Empower them to be able to do that and grow from there. So what you offer is great. Is a 90-day work frame, but a year-long process, well-paid expert mastermind. I just love that. And that you help do it for them. You don't leave them hanging out there. So many programs will say, oh, we're going to get you to do a sales. And then all of a sudden you're left to do this and you've never done it before. And you don't know how to do it. It's not an easy task. If you're not familiar with it, it's not an easy task. If you're familiar with it, it's easy. It's like riding a bike, no big deal, right? But the learning curve is humongous, don't you think?
It can be, yeah.
Yeah. And that's where you come in, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And do you have a team that works with you? How do you work?
I am flying solo for now. I have a team of contractors that I use on an as needed basis, but taking a break for the summer.
Oh, nice. Okay. So I know that it's really, really hard for people buried in client work to scale a digital product, right? So why are there people, what should they be focusing on the most in order to scale while they're working in their business? I call that working in the business while I'm working with my clients. Working on my business would be scaling with you, building these sales funnels. So why is it that we get in the muck, and where should they be focusing on while they're working on their business?
If you're too busy with your client workload now, chances are your prices are too low. Especially if you have built your business on referrals, because that part of that referral is, and she's really cheap. You got to get in before she raises her prices. And so,
yikes.
So I know but it keeps you in that, so then you're undercharging, you're over delivering. Everybody's happy except you, who is nearly burnt out, and you need to raise your rates. And in order to do that, you need to find clients that aren't referral clients. You also could have a conversation about referrals that don't mention price with your existing clients, but that's a different conversation. Yeah. And so when you do that, typically you have to find a new way to get new clients in. Because if you're going from $1,000 to $2,000, you have eliminated every single person who had the money to work with you before. And so that's where the 6-week LinkedIn, let's get this LinkedIn system working. That's where that can come into play. So it's like, okay, great. What we're going to do is we're going to get you higher paying clients, because if you are making, let's say you're making $20,000 a month, but you're serving 10 clients, just for the sake of easy math. Yeah. If you can do the same $20,000 with 5 clients, then all of a sudden you've just bought back some time. Yeah. And so when you're building toward thinking about carving out your time in a sustainable way, and making money in your sleep and having passive income and living the dream, right? You first need to raise your rates on your existing client, on new clients. It's hard to do it on existing, and then pivot into carving out some of that time that you just bought yourself into thinking about a digital product.
Yeah, without a doubt. And the other thing about raising your prices is you create an automatic FOMO, fear of missing out, is that, oh my gosh, she's going to get more expensive, so I better get her now, or get him now, because they're going to get more expensive as price go up. And that also is a sales mechanism, not a cheesy one, not an icky one, not a pickpocket one, as you would put it.
Not a pickpocket one.
It is truly, my time is limited. I only can fit so many people in. My prices are going up. So just know that. I'll honor the prices on the people who are existing clients, but new clients will have to come at this level. That's an honest conversation. What's your why? Our last question, Kathleen.
I have a picture of my mom here from a trip we took, and she died young, trying to leave a corporate job. She was trying to get medical leave, and she probably would have got it had she lived. And she was so excited because they would still pay a reduced salary. But I didn't want to follow in her footsteps and live a life where I worked at a job I hated. And even if there were good parts to it, I'm sure she didn't hate every second of her work life. But once I realized tomorrow's not guaranteed, and my future can be whatever I build it to be,
freedom,
then I realized that I can honor my mom's legacy much better by being happier and making money on my own terms.
Oh my gosh, Kathleen, you touched me to my core. That's such a beautiful why, and such a beautiful thing that you do. What you do helping other people soar to their success is just so beautiful. Everyone, Kathleen Celmins, the well-paid expert mastermind. She also has a product for LinkedIn to allow you to get up, running, and fill up your calendar with that. You can absolutely find her at the Kathleen at thewellpaidexpert.com, or go to wellpaidexpert.com to find her more information. You just see the links below this episode, and you'll have all the information, connectivity to our beautiful friend Kathleen. Kathleen, thank you so much for being on today. Thank you all for joining us today on Healthy Lifestyle with Lorianne. I hope we earned the privilege of your time. Again, I want to thank our guest, Kathleen, and I hope that we will see you and join us next Saturday. As always, we will be here. Until next time, play a higher role, serve a higher purpose, show up for you, and show up big. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.